Your position seems to be that if you falsely designate an American or an American organization as a terrorist group, there's nothing they can do about it. I think we get it. You don't want to answer the question.
Yeah, you don't get anything regarding public safety.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you for the insult. Your position seems to be that if you falsely designate...
What flag is it? We cannot wait for another tragedy before we regulate AI. AI has been...
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history and an instrument of Donald Trump's lawless authoritarian agenda. And I'm glad the American people are seeing who you are, how you act, and the lack of good values. You weaponize the Department of Justice to target immigrants, working families, and anyone that Trump deems an enemy of the state, all to protect real, powerful criminals, including in your administration. Democratic colleagues have focused on your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers. That alone is grounds for impeachment. But there's so much more to your corrupt tenure as Attorney General. You're one of the worst Attorney Generals in our history, and
We might all know.
I've tried to shoot a video now, probably a dozen times, trying to tell you about what I saw in the Epstein files. And honestly, it's just so depraved, and it's sick, and it's not a cabal. It's so much bigger than a cabal. It is a vast network of rich and powerful people believing they can do whatever they want to girls and women. And
Yeah, and I want that whole country to look at this. Because it's the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who's misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes. And so we use our time to ask you specific questions. Excuse me, I'm not hearing you right now. I'd like that second restore too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question, and you answer it, and if you fall on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics, or you start talking about stuff in your district, and by the way, I invite you in my district. It's in my district, but that's not what we're here to do. Okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no voice. You have to be quiet. So, I hope you understand the role of this part. Now, here's what I want to understand. Law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a great task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Kelly can respond. She wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls. Mr. Chairman,
You know what? If you were part of that, you don't know anything about it.
child rapes and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know the tiny little district who he
Chairman,
was.
this is embarrassing. This is your committee, and she is embarrassing.
Time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind the committee that last Congress, Secretary Marks was here numerous times, and he wouldn't answer our questions, even when we sent them to him ahead of time in writing. So that's what we've had to deal with. I think the Attorney General is doing just fine.
Nova, no, that's not for you. Nova, no, that's not for you. Leave the chicken. Nova, no, that's not.
We have some news right now. The ridicule of Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has exploded today after yesterday's hearing over her comments about the Dow, the stock market, hitting 50,000. So you may have missed this. You probably didn't because it's all over the internet. But Pam Bondi, who is the Department of Justice Attorney General, she's not the Secretary of Treasury, randomly started ranting about how the Dow has hit, the stock market has hit 50,000 under Trump and how people should be grateful for that. It had nothing to do with anything under her purview. She just randomly started doing that. And so now the entire internet is ridiculing her over those comments. It's become a complete meme. For example,
at first glance, why are women in Mongolia so beautiful and blessed with some of the most radiant skin in the world?
There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one who asked that those doctors. He really
You answer. You said there's no evidence. The clock.
Legislation. This is
Time. I'd like to go on to this. I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the man who patronized this operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing.
The gentleman has.
There is no evidence.
Carved us whole. Photos. Please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face. Evidence of a crime, and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and stuff.
I agree with you.
You tried.
Claim that time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr. Photos. Please put the photos back.
Your position seems to be that if you falsely designate an American or an American organization as a terrorist group, there's nothing they can do about it.
Repairman found.
There are some seats there. Donald Trump is leading a White House cover-up right now of the Epstein files. And we all know that Epstein himself said that Donald Trump was his best friend for over 10 years. And it is shameful, illegal, and unconstitutional that the Department of Justice has released 1% of the files. 1% of the files. Where is the pressure to get Pam Bondi to release the files? Instead, you're focused, and the committee's focused, on whoever you perceive to be your enemies and the enemies of Donald Trump. 1% of the files have released. You've never been prosecuted for anything. You've never been convicted of anything. As far as I can tell, you've never even been the subject of a disciplinary proceeding over the course of your multi-decade career. But Donald Trump says you're a criminal and you belong in prison. He says you belong in prison, not because you did anything wrong, mind you, but because you did everything right. You pursued the facts, you followed the law, you stuck with extreme caution to every rule of professional responsibility. You had the audacity to do your job. You've never been prosecuted for anything. You've never been convicted of anything. As far as I can tell, you've never even been the subject of a disciplinary proceeding over the course of your multi-decade career. But Donald Trump says you're a criminal and you belong in prison.
Oh my. Do you agree that the judiciary is a co-equal branch of government and it is your obligation as a member of the executive branch to honor decisions made by the highest court of the land? Yes or no, Secretary?
We are abiding by all federal judges' orders.
So,
Absolutely.
yes, it's a co-equal branch of government. Okay, well, let me ask you a follow-up question to that. Do you agree that Congress is a co-equal branch of government and it is your obligation as a member of the executive branch to honor legislation and appropriations duly authorized by Congress? Yes or no?
Yes, that's why I'm thrilled to work
Well,
for
let me ask you the follow-up question here, because I have a lot of them. Do you agree that Article 1 of the Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse? Yes or no?
Yes, it is a
Do
duty.
you believe, let me ask you another follow-up, it's just yes or no. Do you believe you have the power to disregard congressional appropriations and unilaterally repurpose funds that have been duly appropriated by Congress? Yes or no?
Ma'am, we are not doing that.
So the
We are
answer to
using
you is no.
dollars instead
All
of
right, well, it was a yes or no, Secretary. Let me continue. Interestingly, you said no. But since you've been Secretary, you have repeatedly disregarded the law. You have illegally impounded funds that Congress appropriated and that your branch of government must implement pursuant to the law. Yet you've closed offices established in law, including the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, the Office of the Immigration Detention Ombudsman, the Office of the Citizenship and Immigration Services, and you've canceled contracts for programs authorized in law, including shelter and service programs and citizenship and integration grants. You've obstructed and roughed up members of this committee as they attempted to conduct congressional oversight, and then you vilified them. But my question is, if they were so bad, why were they allowed to go in after to conduct oversight? But let me just continue. You redirected funds to terrorize.
Witness today, begin by swearing you in. Would you please rise and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God? I do. Let the record reflect that the witness has answered in the affirmative. Thank you. You can be seated. Please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask you to summarize your testimony. Mr. Smith, you may begin. Welcome our witness today. We'll begin by swearing you in. Would you please rise and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct?
Want to see yourself as a model? Just snap a photo up. How do you get an
I was curious if you, Congresswoman, asked Bill Clinton that. Didn't see one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once. When he was and also, I want the record to reflect that, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning. His Jewish. I want to be clear. Do you want to go there, Attorney General? Do you want to go there? Are you serious?
Gentlemen,
talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
the committee will be in order.
To Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
Ranking member knows that.
Can I get like 30 seconds?
I was curious if you.
Yes or no, please, yes or no. Is the FCC an independent agency?
Senator, thanks for that question. I think
yes or no is all we need, sir. Yes or no, is it independent?
Well, there's a test for this in the law, and the key portion of that test.
Yes or no, Brendan?
The key portion of that test is.
Okay, I'm going to go to Commissioner Trusty. So just so you know, Brendan, on your website, it just simply says, man, the FCC is independent. This isn't a trick question.
Okay, the FCC is
yes
not.
or no?
Is not.
Okay.
Is not.
So is your website wrong? Is your website lying?
Possibly. The FCC is not an independent agency.
Okay, can I read this to you? The FCC's mission on the homepage of the FCC, man. An independent U.S. government agency overseen by Congress. Is that factual or is that a lie?
The FCC is not formally an independent agency.
Is this true or is this a lie?
I'm happy to answer your question. Okay, the sin point.
Do you work for the President of the United States?
I work for the American people.
So can the President fire you?
Or he can't.
He can fire you, correct?
Yes.
So isn't it a conflict of interest that you're going to be making these decisions and the President has full power over you?
I think you're confused, Senator. I am not part of the decision.
Well, you're certainly a person that send on the wire transfer, and I think that's why there's a lot of people that are actually do not trust and do not trust the President's actually looking out his best interest.
I guess
I'm controlling the time here. I'm controlling. You're not obeying the law. You're plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Do you work for the President of the United States?
I work for the American people.
So can.
Mr. Smith, did you ever speak to President Biden about this case?
Never.
Did you ever receive orders or direction from President Biden or anyone else in the White House about this case?
No.
Did you ever receive any direction from the Attorney General Merrick Garland regarding how you should, whether or not you should charge this case?
No, I was given the independence to make that decision on my own.
An independent special counsel, exactly. I just want to point out to my colleagues who seem to think this is a politicized investigation that on February 10th, over a month, 2021, over a month after January 6th, Marco Rubio said the January 6th attack on the Capitol was far more dangerous than most realize, and we have a criminal justice system in place to address it. Who oversaw the Department of Justice on February 10th, 2021? Who was president?
February 10th, 2021. That would be Joe Biden.
So Marco Rubio wanted Joe Biden.
Ano? Nakita ko kanina si Papa may kasamang babae.
Napakasinungaling ng anak niya to. Kaya ayusin mo ang bibig mo. Napakasinungaling mo.
Sige, sabihin mo. Ay, nakita mo. Tapos naka-holding hands sila habang
Ano ka naman? Napakasinungaling.
Tuminig ka. Sige, ano ka nakita mo? Tapos hindi sila katulad ng ginawa niyo ni Ninong. Sinungaling ka. Sinungaling ka. Hindi ka yung bibig mo. Sinungaling ka. Hindi ako naman. Kunin mo yung babae ko. Baby ka. Ano? Nakita ko kanina si Papa may kasamang babae.
Napakasinungaling ng anak niya to. Kaya ayusin mo ang bibig mo. Napakabata-bata mo pa. Napakasinungaling mo.
Sige, sabihin mo. Ay, nakita mo. Tapos naka-holding hands sila habang naglalakad.
Ano ba naman yun? Ano?
Tuminig ka. Sige, ano pa nakita mo? Tapos hindi sila katulad ng ginawa niyo ni Ninong. Sinungaling ka. Sinungaling ka.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Sejun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you
Thank
to
you.
remember that...
Madam Secretary, the man behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife Donna has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service.
Now, what possible explanation can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job.
Did you know that there is a simple...
I asked the Attorney General for information on ongoing criminal investigations relating to this alleged fraud. Because fraud is a crime. And surprise, surprise, I haven't heard a peep back from the Attorney General. Madam Attorney General, my letter is now in the congressional record. Please read it. Please respond to Congress as to whether or not you're doing your job, or is there a job to do? Has there been waste, fraud, and abuse? Are you pursuing this, or is just to cast doubt on the Social Security system? I asked the Attorney General for information on ongoing criminal investigations relating to this alleged fraud, because fraud is a crime. And surprise, surprise, I haven't heard a peep back from the Attorney General. Madam Attorney General, my letter is now in the congressional record. Please read it. Please respond to Congress as to whether or not you're doing your job, or is there a job to do? Has there been waste, fraud, and abuse? Are you pursuing this, or is just more malarkey to cast doubt on the Social Security system? I asked the Attorney General for information on ongoing criminal investigations relating to this alleged fraud, because fraud is a crime. And surprise, surprise.
From the tip of the abdomen.
Ang tigas talaga ng pagmamukha nito ni John Dick, no? Akalain nyo, kiniklaim niya, proud to say pa, yung pang sinasabi niya, wala na daw sindikato sa bansa, na-dismantle na daw nila. Wala nang kidnapping, wala nang hold-upan, wala nang media caps, wala nang extrajudicial killings sa invento lang naman nila. Akalain nyo, nagawa niya lahat yan nang wala siyang ginagawa. Putang nila.
Breaking news! Jeffrey Epstein, founder of Bitcoin. Pakinggan natin to.
This is not a normal.
Nag-iisip na naman na kayo na, will you commit to providing this committee with any list of organizations that you have recommended be designated as domestic terrorist organizations? We will comply with the law in all matters. Will you commit to provide this committee with your list of entities that you recommend be designated as domestic terrorist organizations?
I'm not going to commit to anything to you because you won't let me answer questions.
Okay, well then we do understand that your current position is that you have a secret list of people or groups that you are accusing of domestic terrorism, but you won't share it with Congress. And I remind you that when the U.S. government designates an entity as a foreign terrorist organization, it must report that to Congress and to the entity, because the government can make a mistake and the entity has the opportunity to contest it. So your position seems to be that if you falsely designate an American or an American organization as a terrorist group, there's nothing they can do about it. Will you commit to providing this committee with any list of organizations that you have recommended be designated as domestic terrorist organizations?
We will comply with the law in all matters.
You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name. We have not released anyone's name in the FCC files that has not been credible. We have released every piece of legally permissible information. You can characterize the numbers however you want it.
Reclaiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political innuendo so you can go out to the sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising article. So keep going, reclaiming your time, because the people of California are being underserved by your representation.
The president is not implicated. Why not release everything that involves him?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath tell the truth. Did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in
It's
the
a simple
attorney's
question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
Did you
can
tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no,
Use
Director?
the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C.
Director,
D,
did
F.
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your constituency
did
by
you tell the
focusing on
Attorney
reducing
General
violent
that Donald
crime in this
Trump's name-
country and the number of pedophiles that are
Director,
legally harbored in sanctuary cities in California? I'll work with you on that. Do you
Regular
wanna
order, Mr.
work with us
Chairman.
on that?
Director,
I belong to the gentleman from California.
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
Question has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not
But the
released
number at
anyone's
least
name that we have not released anyone's
But it
name in
would
the
at least
Epstein
be a
files
thousand.
that has not been credible.
Monthly pension or lump sum? Alin ang makukuha mo from
Dapat makita na ni BBM talaga na kung sa Bisaya ba.
Yep. I wanted to start just by confirming, do you support democracy or authoritarianism? I think that's pretty obvious. I support freedom and democracy. Democracy. Great. Would you agree that accepting the results of a fair and free election are critical to a functioning democracy?
Would you agree that standing
That's
up
not
and
my
cheering
question.
for
Is
a
would you-
cancer survivor
would
would have
you
been the nice thing to do?
Ms. Lake, this is my time.
Okay.
Would you accept that accepting the results of a free and fair election are critical to a functioning democracy? It's a yes or no question. Do you think it's essential
I
for a
think we need
democracy to
free-
have a free and fair election?
We need free and fair elections.
Free and
and
fair
sadly,
elections,
we don't
great.
have
Thank you so much. And yet, you have, to this day, refused to acknowledge that President Trump lost the 2020 election, something that even members of President Trump's own Justice Department have admitted, and multiple lawsuits have shown. And we heard my colleague from Arizona talk about what happened in Arizona. So it can.
Found your statements to be, quote, inexplicably misleading, patently incredible, totally inconsistent, and so disingenuous that the court is left with little confidence that the government can be trusted to tell the truth about anything. As your best lawyers are sacked for having participated in the January 6th case or just flee for the exits now, your new lawyers keep lying in court. In dozens of cases, they've been excoriated for lying to federal judges. Chief Judge Boasberg, right here in D.C., suggested your Department of Justice perpetrated a fraud on the court. Found your statements to be, quote, inexplicably misleading, patently incredible, totally inconsistent, and so disingenuous that the court is left with little confidence that the government can be trusted to tell the truth about anything. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
Has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Hello? Hello? Sino? Oh, nandun na sa taas. Nandun na, kumakain na. Sino? Oo, saglit lang. Naka-live pa ako, pero saglit lang. Tulog na ilang minutes. Sino pa ang tinatanong mo? Si Tristan? Si Roshin? Opo. Nakabukas. Buong maglaban. Sana all 50,000. Ay, bubuksan mo. Sana all 50. Sa akin sa sa akin nag 1.4 lang. Tapos minto na. Naglito ako si Kuya ng steak. Star naman. Sin, pepper, butter. Hindi masarap pag nasa grill. Hindi nga pwede yun. Hindi. Pepper. Isda o kaya gulay. Sin, pepper, butter, garlic. Wala na, yun lang, isa lang luto ko. Okay.
You emphasize. Luna, hungry? You want to eat? It's coming soon, Baba. Cuddle? First you eat, and then we cuddle. Okay, so first you eat, and then we cuddle, and then we go to sleep. I think you're missing something. What else do you want to do? Yes!
Nakakita na ba kayo ng baklang player? Eto, panoorin niyo siya, hindi siya. Basta-bastang player. Kaya niya din makipagsabayan sa mga tunay na player. Pag may ganitong player sa lugar niyo, ay nakakaliw talaga to panoorin. Jack, mapapahala ka talaga sa kanya. Ay, siya lang. Nakakita na ba?
When we are united, we are truly invincible. What about the following is untrue? In Europe, there are endless internal arguments and things left unsaid that stop Europe from uniting and speaking honest.
In an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, with the survivors and victims who are here, please stand up one more time. Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them. And of those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, How many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them.
You fucking. I want to speak on the fact that we are completely distracting from the real issues that face our country in the Judiciary Committee. And I've been beating on this drum for some time. But let me be clear, this committee is supposed to be looking at the constitutional rights of Americans that are being violated across.
Sige lang mo, takas-takas. Gusto mo ipagulong-gulong ka mo dyan? Hindi mo maluwi sa iyong mga kauban, mabira na lang, kay walay lait tao. Kasayin lang tagpadboard. Sorry ha. Kung dapat kinunta, alerta. Ha? Kinumduman gila nyo, iyain na lang. Sige, cancela lang nato ang mission. Ha? Nice. Sige lang mo, takas-takas. Gusto mo ipagulong-gulong ka mo dyan? Ha? Hindi mo maluwi sa iyong mga kauban, mabira na lang, kay walay lait tao.
The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
I believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
It's 2019. And in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me, sir.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in the safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it.
Video ni PBBM, ito raw itutuwa hindi AI, ayon pa kay D. At nilihantok si Ogie Diaz.
Mr. Ogie Diaz, may tanong ako sa iyo, yung mukha mo parang tuhod. Ano bang karapatan mo na para sabihin deepfake or AI-generated yung nirelease na?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for joining us and for your service. Just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So, Director Radcliffe, you were a member of the Houthi PC small group signal chain, correct? I was. Yeah, and so were the Vice President, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited.
And so was national political reporter Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
I don't know Jeffrey Goldberg, and I've already testified. I don't know whether or how he was added.
Okay, well, he was a member of the signal chain, and the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Vance, quote, "I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the President is aware of how..."
Sandra, I'm just trying to work. I can't stop. I need to pay for your treats and stuff. Okay, go get the toy. All right, bye. Sandra, I'm just trying to...
163 billion pesos, so $2.75 billion, ang inutang ng Pilipinas itong Martes sa kauna-unahang dollar bond issuance ng Administrasyong Marcos May 2026. Ang dollar bonds, so yung tinatawag na sovereign bonds, ay isang debt instrument na katibayan ng mga investors sa oras ng singilan sa pautang. Dahil utang ng bayan, tinatawag din itong ROPs, shorthand for Republic of the Philippines. Ang issuer ay ang Bureau of the Treasury. Ang mga creditor, mga bangko sa loob at labas ng bansa, mga wealth or asset managers, insurance companies at iba pang financial institutions. Kaiba ito sa ibang utang dahil may garantiya ng gobyerno na siguradong babayaran. May local o foreign denomination ito tulad ng yen o dollar. The
Situation we saw that kapag pala pinakulang. Before I ask questions of Mrs. Smith, I just want to make a simple observation. How scared are Republicans of talking about the Epstein files? They're so scared that they literally are calling Jack Smith, a distinguished federal prosecutor who secured multiple indictments against Donald Trump with multiple felony counts. Republicans would rather talk about the criminality of Donald Trump and trying to steal an election and trying to stop the peaceful transfer of power, and the criminality of Donald Trump and stealing classified documents of obstructing justice, than about Donald Trump's associations with Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophilia ring. I demand this committee.
Is this going to be a yes or no? Mr. Secretary, no. I'm going to abide by the chairman's rules, but I have some rules. You can say yes or no, and then if you say yes, you may continue to give that support. If it's a no, then you tell me why not. And now we need to be clear. Yes, let's start with the yes or no. I'm trying to be respectful. But you're not gonna do what you want to do on my time. Yes?
Sure, you can join.
I'll move on.
Number 3.
Okay, so let the record show that he refuses to answer a question. No, we're not going to do that with me. We are not going to do that with me.
Ask it. It's the gentlewoman's time from Ohio.
Are you online?
You opted for number 3.
What's
so
your
you get
name?
to hear my
So
wrath
I can find you.
that you refuse to answer a question under your authority
What's your
and with
name?
this administration, and yet you've talked about the value of housing, and you're not releasing the funds, and I want the record to be clear on that. So let me move on.
All right, Luna, spin, and now say Luna. Good girl. All right, now can you say I'm a good girl?
Yeah. Why does everyone like to...
Can you believe that the part Mongolians love most?
17 years, he lived in silence. I'm thrilled the Republican chairman is having Jack Smith testify publicly, because Jack Smith is going to tell the American people all the evidence that he has collected against Donald Trump, why Donald Trump was lawfully indicted, and why Donald Trump violated federal law. And American people are going to hear that. And I encourage everyone
What's your
to watch.
name?
I'm
Invite to
thrilled
play.
the Republican chairman is having Jack Smith testify publicly, because Jack
Okay,
Smith is
find
going to
your
tell the American
name.
people
What is
all
your
the evidence that he has collected
what is your
against Donald
name?
Trump and why Donald Trump.
Wait, what is your tag name in the game? What's your tag name so I can invite you? This is not the one. Oh, I'm not live in Joel. I'm live in Joel. Okay, what's your tag name? Diva Kills. Okay, what's your tag name? I think your name. Diva Kills. Okay, what's your tag name? I think your name. Diva. Okay, what's your tag name? I think your name. Diva. How can I invite you? Yeah, you can join. How you can join? How can I invite you?
You can join.
You can join your operator.
How can I invite you? You can join. Join your operator. Join your operator.
Invite. Okay, you're there. Invite. Okay, you're there already.
Okay, you're there. Okay, you're there already. You're there. You're there already. You're there.
So I made this is the head of the creeper. So you go inside.
So I made
You go inside to the head of the creeper. Go down.
you go inside. You go inside the head of the creeper.
It's very nice. There is some chef.
That's very nice.
There's here.
That's very nice.
Yes, there is nothing. This one kind of a ender one. So that's the ender. And I have made under here buksan mo, papasukin ako.